Underdog. Unleash the power within.
Jayson Waller here, true underdog. Are we excited on today's podcast and YouTube channel? Listen up. If you don't subscribe right now, I need you to go ahead and hit the subscriber button. I promise we won't let you down. If you don't like it, unsubscribe that shit. But right now, subscribe to it because I promise after you get your nugget, you get your story, you get your fix, you're going to want to continue to listen. You're going to be pissed you didn't subscribe. Subscribe right now, whether you're on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. We don't care. IGTV, Facebook TV. Check it out, trueunderdog.com. You are on the show here. Jayson Waller. I've got my good buddy and fill-in host today, Joe Caban. How you doing, Joe?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
Hanging in there. Today is Monday, and I am living large, loving life. I'm back in Michigan, back getting my grind on. Coronavirus is now on its second wind. We've got all this stuff going on. We just passed the 4th of July. The world's upside down. People aren't happy, but I can tell you what, we're here to give people what they need, something to inspire them, something to motivate them, and some good factual stories for them to go, wow, and get addicted to. Sound good?
Sounds perfect.
Good. So how was your weekend? What'd you do for the 4th?
It's good. I kicked it with the family, did some fireworks with the kids, kind of a last minute thing. Drove to South Carolina, grabbed some fireworks, and they had a good time. It's for the kids. They enjoyed it. What about you?
I went to a buddy of mine, Mark's, and his wife Lita's house on the lake for the 3rd of July. And, we got to watch some fireworks, have some food, smoke a nice Cuban cigar.
Nice.
And then on the 4th, had some people over at the pool, and we played pool volleyball. You know how I do. Me and pool volleyball. We're like,
I bet you that game was intense. Knowing you were involved.
The game was intense. Absolutely, it was a good time. My team won most of the time. That'll leave it at that. So let's get started. I want to talk about today. Really talk about judgment, right? Let's talk about the world we live in today. Everyone feels judged or predetermined or fabricated on who they are, what they are, and how they can be anything. And I use this as an experience and a lesson, where we bring people around and you give someone a look, or maybe you don't feel like they're up to your standards, or it's different, or it's change, and people don't like change. And, where does that person come from? And, why do they have that quirky attitude, or what do they look like? And, I always try to reference, I think I've been blessed. I've got a lot of I grew up with a lot of diversification, obviously. Growing up in Phoenix, a lot of my friends were Latino or Hispanic. And then moving to North Carolina, a lot of my friends were white or African American. And then me and you meeting, you being up in Brooklyn and Whitestone, you're Puerto Rican descent, or you claim, showed one the tattoo. There it is.
There it is. You see it?
So the joke is, we make light on this, is Joe is the whitest Puerto Rican I've ever met. That's a fact.
Most people say I look Italian
until Joe went and got me in 23.com and found out he's not 100% Puerto Rican. He got all kinds of stuff in him. So now he's the biggest mutt Puerto Rican I've ever met.
Exactly. I got everything from South African to European. So I'm a mixture of, of everything. So.
Well, that's what it's about. I mean, life's about it being a mixture of everything, being diversified, right? And who we are. And, one thing I want to talk about is our company. At PowerHome, we don't hire people on resumes, unless it's an accounting job or it's an HR job. Usually we'll do interviews based on resumes or experience, but we hire based on attitude, on passion, on, what are their desires? What are their goals in life? Do they fit the culture? Are they excited about being a part of a movement, or is it just a job? And, for myself out there, for those listeners and watchers and viewers out there, I've shared some stories where I've manipulated my resume a little bit to get jobs I probably shouldn't have. And Joe knows, and you've heard that story. And, but I've done that, and I've been able to keep those jobs based on my skill set. And so I've really made it a big deal for me and the people around me, the leaders in our organization, to really not justify a book by its cover. Meaning, if their resume says that they are, the sandwich and the chips with the dip, let's not have faith in that. Let's talk to them and see if it's a culture fit. If they're excited about something, if they're passionate about something. We don't care about where they're from, who they are, what they did in the past. We care about what they want to do in the future. And that's something you can't put on paper. And that's something that you can't see when you look at someone. You got to feel it when you talk to someone. And I think our company's been very successful because we have hired people that are about a movement, about change, about, we're into solar and we're into renewable energy and we're into saving people money and saving the planet. And it allowed these folks that transition and move up in our company, really starting from the bottom to the top. I mean, I'll use you as an example, Joe. When we met many, many years ago, we talked about on your podcast. So for those listeners and viewers out there, if you haven't checked out a podcast, you need to check out the one with Joe. It's a great episode, and he talks about his history and his life and some of the turmoils he went through with siblings being shot and where he lived. I mean, it's a remarkable story. And again, thank you, Joe, for sharing that. But on this, bringing you in, let's talk about your experience and then us bringing you to work for me at the alarm company back in the day. What were you doing before we did that?
Right before I came to work for you, I was an analyst for a telecom company. So basically what I do is sit behind a desk and I'd analyze. I was in charge of the Middle East, and it was telecom, so it was all about phone lines and price per minute when you call other countries and calling cards, that kind of stuff. It's that kind of business. So I was in charge of keeping track of that, making sure that we're actually making money, having the right carriers in place that actually worked.
Right.
That customers can still have a good experience with the calling card as well as us still making money. So I had to constantly juggle that, get new rates from carriers, making sure that all that stuff was updated so that the company made money in my region. So I was responsible for that region. But before that, I really had no management experience. I was just working under someone. I was never a manager anywhere. So I had zero management experience before I came to PowerHome.
And when you came to work for us, your first role, unfortunately, a summer team we had that was irresponsible and that would go out and knock doors and sell home security. And then when they get a little money, they would drink and party all night. And you had to babysit them and make sure that they went to work every day, correct?
Exactly. I literally sat in the house, made sure they ate, make sure they didn't drink, and make sure they got them up every morning, make sure they got them dressed and got to work on time. Literally a babysitting gig.
That was your first job, with myself at a company that we were growing in the home security business. And, quickly we, in order to intimidate some of those guys that thought they were bad to the bone, we would tell them, dude, Joe's an ex-MMA fighter, dude. You don't want to piss Joe.
I was 4-0 and I hurt my back.
That was the joke.
Did my fifth fight. So, I was 4-1 because I hurt my back, but that was the joke.
And they would listen, and then they would go to work every day. And, when you then came into our office and started managing the call center and started learning more of the sales side and doing sales for us and then managing the sales process. Talk about that experience. You first get into that and you've never done it before, but I knew you were all in. I knew you were hungry. I knew you wanted better things and you weren't scared, but talk about that.
Yeah, that was my first taste of figuring, stuff out on your own, so to speak. And, back then, we had a whole phone set up in the phone room. Back then, it was still phone lines. So we had to figure out how to hook the system up. And I was trying to get help from Jason. Jason's like, figure it out. You got it. So basically figured it out. And it was just, I guess at that point, I kind of realized, what kind of leader Jason was. Jason wants you to take responsibility and figure stuff out on your own. Don't take the easy way out. Kind of dig in deep, figure it out. And that's how that started. And I managed a group of, started from like 5 to eventually like 30 people in that group. So, my first experience managing a group, I think it went fairly well. I learned a lot from you, from your business partner, Kevin, at the time, and I helped growing that department. So it was my first experience with management, but it was a good experience. I learned a lot.
And so, what I want the listeners and viewers to understand right now is, when you go to a job, and you have a resume, or you go to interview for something, you're not as good as that piece of paper is. That piece of paper is just a glimpse of you getting there. That you have got to show something in front of people that is different, that they're looking for, that is exciting, that it's not just the job, that you're not saying all the right things, that you're going against the grain and you're saying the things that they want to hear and that matter and that make a difference. And I think, Joe, we were friends and you came in and that worked out. But had I not thought you could do it, I wouldn't have had you do it. And, it was a whole different element for you. And I think that, judgment, if it wasn't me, you wouldn't have had that opportunity.
Probably not.
And that's the deal. Like, it's people like to make judgment beforehand. They say, based on your experience, Joe, you're just an analyst. Why would you run a call center? People in this world, when you have a job, when you're looking for someone to add to your business, or you're looking to work somewhere, or you're looking to build a team, you're running a sports franchise, or you're running, a youth team, or whatever you're doing, you have a band, you have whatever it is, a sales team, a call center team. Joe's a director of our business over in customer communications and manages, I don't know, probably a few hundred people, correct, Joe?
There's over 100 now. Yeah.
So, Joe's been with us, 3 different companies and has grown his way to the top and has earned every aspect. But, with experiences, with failures, you learn. Joe mentioned, hey, this was my first thing. I didn't know everything, but I learned. I had to pick it up. I couldn't make excuses. I couldn't do that. And I think that, if you're running these things or you're looking for people, you need to get out of your own way and not think that the one who puts on the best front, looks the best, has the best resume, that's not your person. You need to dig deep. You need to qualify. You need to see what is driving them. You can always teach people skills. You can teach people ways to be better at their job and to sharpen any kind of skills or assets that they have. You can teach people process. What you can't teach them is hunger, is passion, is desire to want to succeed, being a part of a movement. What is their culture like? Are they all in, or is this just a job, right? And I think, we talk about judgment. That's judgment on business. What about life, right? Think about this. I went through it as a kid when I met my wife. Her mom and family completely judged me because I lived in a trailer. They would make comments. I stick my feet out the window. I'm poor. My car had insulation coming out of it. Why would you want to be with a kid that looks like that, or he's poor, and all these things, lives in the trailer? I lived with judgment in high school, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners, viewers, Joe, I'm sure you lived with judgment as a child. I mean, let's talk about that. What was it like for when you were a kid and you got a first girlfriend, or you wanted to go play and do stuff? How were you judged, Joe?
It was tough because, growing up where I grew up, obviously I didn't have a father figure in the life in my household. So, living in poverty, we moved from homeless shelter to public housing and stuff, just natural stuff as a kid. Wanted to be on a baseball team, or wanted to be on a basketball team, and couldn't afford to pay for uniforms, or couldn't afford camp to go play football and stuff like that. That's kind of tough. I think those kind of things, people like us, those are the things that we look for when we try to hire someone is that hunger and that drive. I think people in those kind of situations usually do very well for themselves most of the time. But yeah, it was just really, really tough growing up back then, not knowing how to, not having a dad out there to teach you how to throw a football or play baseball or stuff like that. You kind of had to figure stuff out on your own and become a man on your own. But I think that's helped me, with how being successful today.
I would agree. And I think overcoming that adversity and wanting to prove people wrong and the naysayers wrong, it's one of my hungers. I just had a podcast recently that's dropping called, Love Haters, right? I love that. It's like, those are the steps I want to climb up the stairs on, right? I just want to step on the haters and show them this is I'm just walking on and going up steps. But, I think with judgment, I think that, predetermined judgment in anything in life, whether you're judging a job before you try it, or you're judging a girl before you go out with her, or you're judging an employee before you hire them, or a friend, or a daughter's boyfriend, or whatever it is you're judging, or, it's unfortunate that that's how the human mind goes to. But it's our job as individuals to prove those people that are prejudging wrong. And it's our job to do that. And I think you've done a good job of that, as have I. And, I encourage people out there, when you're looking to hire someone, or you're looking for a relationship with someone, you can't prejudge. You gotta inspect what you expect. You got to open the hood. You got to get down to the goodies of what's really there. Who is this person? What are they about? What are they going to do? How are they going to be different than someone else you hire? Where are they going to stand out on? Are they going to be motivated? Is this a career for them? Are they looking for a long-term relationship with you if you're looking to date or marry someone? Those are the qualities that I think that we lack sometimes in our country by being stereotyped to quickly just prejudge, right? When we hire someone, when we have a relationship with someone, or anything going on in the world, we're quick to prejudge. And social media makes it a million times worse. Well, the internet says it, it's true. No, it's not true. You have to dig in and figure things out. And, I like to take this one personally with judgment just because I felt that way my entire life. Kicked out of high schools, going to different schools, automatically judged. Kicked off, living in a trailer park, girlfriend's family doesn't like me, prejudged. It's just the way it is, and there's many other cases of that, where I was younger and I had a great job and I was making a lot of money, but I wasn't promoted because I was judged because of my age or my gender, right? Mm-hmm. Other people were getting promoted besides myself. And, that's hard to deal with. And I think that, we have to be able to remove the minutia here and, really take time to ask the questions and not be scared to look someone in their face. And, some of the interviewing questions are, why are you here? What drives you? Where do you see yourself in 2 years? What about 5 years? How do you think you can impact our company? What do you believe in our company? Those are some of the quality questions you can ask people if they're going to join your team, your organization, that you've got to dig deep, that a piece of paper isn't going to tell you. Those shoes that someone wore or the way they cut their hair, the way they smell isn't going to tell you anything.
Gotcha. As a CEO, narrow it down to 3 things that you look for when interviewing anyone for any position, no matter what it is. What do you look for exactly?
Number 1 would be passion.
Okay.
I got to know that they're passionate. If they're too relaxed and there's no high energy about something they believe in, I want to be able to dig and find that, whoa, they're passionate about that. You don't have to be passionate about everything, but you got to be passionate about something. And hopefully that something has to do with why you would join our team. And then I think secondly would be integrity and trust. They've got to be good people, right? You can ask good, tough questions and see if there's any integrity issues, right? You don't want anyone that's lying, cheating, stealing, that has an issue with the world, that blames everybody for their failures. You want somebody that, they understand integrity and loyalty. And third, you want them positive. You can't have negative Nellies out there. I mean, you can be trustworthy, you can be passionate, but then you can be negative. And what negative does is negative's like cancer, and it just infests and takes over. Or like I like to say, spoiled milk in a refrigerator. When you come in and you're just ubering and blurting out negative stuff, you're doing the wrong thing. And we see that a lot in sports. We see that a lot in schools. We see that a lot in work. And people are just negative. And people need to start looking at the glass half full. People in this country, in this world, in today's life, people need to wake up and be thankful they're alive. Be thankful we're not in a nuclear war. Be thankful that if they don't have a disease, they're grateful for living. If they do, that they have another day to cherish their life and their loved ones. To be grateful for the opportunity that we're given. I mean, we've done business in, Pakistan and we had a call center in China many years ago that we partnered with. I mean, America's a great country. We have issues, obviously, a lot of them, but
those other countries are way far off, worse than we are.
And, we spend too much time blame, anger, and negative. I don't care if you're right, left, white, black, green, brown, purple. Everybody seems to be complaining and they're negative and they find shit to argue about rather than find a way to hold hands, love, peace. What can we do to be better? What can we do to grow? How can we protect, our entire country? I mean, how can we continue to set the aspirations for the future of our next generations? And I think a lot of it comes down to it's an outlook. It's whether you wake up negative and pissed off at the world, or you wake up and you're grateful and you're thankful for every moment that you have or anything that you have, and not blame everything else in the world on your problems. Sometimes, guys, your problems are your problems. Sometimes your failures are your failures, nobody else's. And my son says it, hey, Dad, that's a you problem. You're damn right it is. Sometimes it's a you problem. Not all the time is it that person's problem. Sometimes it's me. It's my problem, and I got to fix it. And we have to do a better job of that. I know at PowerHome, we have a motto, bam, build a movement, one panel, one customer, one employee at a time. but we're also power home strong through this pandemic and everything that's going on. We've really stayed united and stayed together and have each other's back. We're one family. We love each other. We believe in each other's aspirations to be better human beings and take care of each other, regardless of race or gender. And I think that's important. And I think that, as a leader in the communities that we're in and the organization that we're a part of, I think that as passionate as I am, it's important that, our listeners and viewers know that you wake up and change your day every day. That's how I look at it. I wake up and I choose, am I going to be in a bad mood today, or am I going to be in a good mood today? Am I going to complain and bitch, or am I going to find a way to stay positive and be grateful? And, news is never nice. I don't care if you watch CNN or Fox or anything.
I don't even watch the news for that.
By the way, they never go, oh my goodness, this person had a great day today and they won the lottery and this family overcame cancer and this person opened a business that's successful and this company added 400 jobs. Nope. It's negative, 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 and then you live in it. And then people are on their phones and they're like, negative, 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 negative. Find a way to be positive. Find a way, whether you want to meditate, whether you want to pray, whether you want to congregate, whatever it is you want to do, find a way to get to that spot to where you're somewhat positive. That, my friend, changes a lot of the things going on, I think, in our world. Not everything. We still got our own issues. But it will change a lot of the outlook and their actions and reactions of people in this world. And I think as we go into an election year, everybody should just go out and vote. If you don't like the way things are, vote. If you like the way things are, vote. You don't have to exploit it. You don't have to yell about it. You don't have to get mad about it. Just hey, that's how you make a change. If it doesn't work, guys, it's the game we play. It doesn't work. We go on to the next one. It's not the end of the world. It never is. Remember, it's just a face. It's never the end of the world. We get to choose if it's the end of the world. And as long as we stay positive, it won't be.
Everyone's entitled to their own opinion as well. That's what this country's built on. So whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, just vote. Don't be mad at the other for voting the other way.
I don't like any of them. I don't blame you. Sometimes I don't like any of them. So, I think that, I think I'm hopeful. This is me being positive. It's going to get better. I'm optimistic. Things are going to be okay. And everybody's going to love each other and wake up and go, you know what? We're good. And this pandemic, it just needs to run through its course and get the hell out of Dodge so people can be happy again. People can be excited again. People don't have to live in fear, because fear brings the worst out of people. And that's a lot of what we're seeing too, is people are upset and scared and bothered and cooped up and angry. And we just got to help them. We got to be positive and we got to think good thoughts. And I think, in today's show, having you on, Joe, and talking a little bit about your past, judgment's key. And, you can't judge something on a piece of paper or the way they look. You got to dig deep, whether it's for your business, or whether it's for a friendship or whatever relationship. Everybody's got their own mess. Everybody's got their skeletons in their closet. Everyone's got their own issues. But the way to find out if this is a person you want to do business with or be business with or work with or be friends with or date, you got to look into it. You got to ask the questions. You got to see if there's sync in there. You got to see if there's tendencies that fit. I shared mine, some of the questions I ask in interviews and things that are important to me, but we have got to do that. Nobody should be prejudged ever. Nobody should be prejudged to not get a job because they don't, resume says they're not qualified or they don't have the experience. I think that if you have the heart, I think at least in business, you can learn the experience, but to want to do the job, I always say, if we have someone given 110% and they want to be here, damn it, we will find a way to make it work. But if we've got somebody that's the best at their job, but they hate life and they hate being here, but they're so good, we're going to find a way to get rid of them because they're poison.
Yep. I think that's a testament to our business. I think half the people we have, as our managers and as our rock star employees that we have here, if we would judge them by, their resume, just by the cover, we probably wouldn't have hired them. So
I agree. And I think that it's very important that we say a positive outlook, JoJo. I think that we continue to grind. We continue to grow our business. We continue to love people. Congrats to you and your wonderful family. You've got 5 kids, guys, not 1, not 2.
I got 5.
You've got 5 babies. So they're all not little, but 5 babies running around. So God bless you, Joe, and your family. And I hope you guys take care and stay healthy. And God bless everybody else out there. Listen to this. Go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. It is True Underdog. Subscribe now. I promise you're going to love it. Make sure you go to iHeartRadio, you go to Spotify, you go to Apple Podcasts. You subscribe, you enjoy it. Check out Joe's podcast that he had with us earlier in this season. It's a great podcast. Be excited, be loved, be healthy. Bam!
Bam!
Bam, bam, bam. True Underdog. Bam, bam.